When I was 15, just on the cusp of truly understanding the adult world, I saw something at a family reunion that didn't just change my life forever, it shattered the way I saw every single person I thought I knew. It was supposed to be a weekend filled with the kind of nostalgic joy only a big southern family reunion can bring. Barbecue smoke hanging heavy in the humid Georgia air, the raucous sound of laughter, cousins running barefoot across my grandparents' sprawling farm. But behind that old, weathered barn, tucked away from the merriment, I found my cousin doing something so profoundly unforgivable, so utterly monstrous, that it etched itself into my soul. And here's the thing, when I, a naive kid, thought I was doing the right thing by telling the truth, they didn't just disagree, they all turned on me, every single one of them. It felt like the world had spun off its axis, and I was suddenly standing alone in a place I no longer recognized. It was the peak of July, the air thick and sticky with humidity, typical for rural Georgia. My family is massive, the kind where you need a spreadsheet to keep track of all the uncles, aunts, and dozens of cousins. Every summer, we'd descend upon my grandparents' sprawling farm near Athens. We'd pitch tents, string up fairy lights, and tell ghost stories by the bonfire late into the night. I always loved it, cherished those humid, mosquito-bitten evenings. It was my favorite part of the year. But that summer, 2011, I wasn't just a kid anymore. I was 15, old enough to see things I hadn't seen before, old enough to hear the hushed whispers when the grown UPS thought the kids weren't listening. It was like a veil had been lifted, revealing cracks in the perfect family facade I'd always believed in. I remember the exact moment. The sun was dipping low, painting the sky in fiery oranges and purples, and the scent of grilled chicken filled the air. I'd gone to get my little sister, Emma. She was only 9, a whirlwind of boundless energy, always wandering off to play hide-and-seek with the younger cousins in the sprawling fields. I followed the sound of giggles, past the old rusted tractor, heading towards the back of the property, towards the ancient, leaning barn that everyone said was haunted, and that's where I found her, behind the barn. But I definitely wasn't alone. My heart, even now, races remembering that split second before I fully understood what I was seeing. My blood ran cold. The giggles had stopped. What I saw wasn't a game. I saw my cousin, Tyler, 17, almost 18, the quintessential football star, everyone's golden boy. He was the pride of the family, destined for a college scholarship, adored by every aunt and uncle. And he was cornering Carly, our neighbor's daughter, against the rough wooden planks of that old barn. She was tiny, only 13, barely out of childhood. Her face was pale, utterly terrified, frozen in a silent scream. Her eyes, wide and filled with pure, unadulterated fear, were locked onto mine the moment I stepped into view. I didn't even think. My mouth moved before my brain caught up. Tyler. The name ripped from my throat, raw and loud in the quiet evening. He spun around, his head snapping towards me like an animal caught in headlights, his face contorted in a mask of shock and instant rage. Carly, seeing her chance, seized it. She bolted, scrambling away from him, a blur of motion disappearing around the corner of the barn. Tyler's eyes, now fixed solely on me, narrowed into menacing slits. He took a step forward, raising his fist, not quite touching me, but the threat hung heavy in the air. His voice was a low, dangerous growl, completely unlike the charming Tyler everyone knew. You say one word about this, Olivia, and I swear to God, I'll make you regret it. I will ruin you.